The following WCIA3 sports presentation is brought to you by Blue Sky Restoration and Longview Bank.
Illinois basketball is back and the bar has been raised. After winning the program's first regular season title since 2005, the Illini start a new season as defending champs.
But it's a new look Illini team with only 4 scholarship players returning. 10 guys are gone with 7 newcomers set to suit up for the first time in orange and blue, including Texas Tech transfer and Chicago native Terrence Shannon Jr.
Baylor transfer Matthew Meyer, the only other senior on a team filled with talent yet inexperience, especially in the backcourt. How does head coach Brad Underwood mix it all together to keep the Illini a contender?
This is your Illini Nation tip-off show.
Let the party begin! That was the scene in March as a sold-out State Farm Center crowd stormed the court after beating Iowa on the last day of the regular season to win a share of the Big Ten Conference title, the first championship since 2005. Now the Illini are looking to run it back. And with that, welcome to the Your Illini Nation Tip-Off Show. I'm Bret Beherns along with Andy Olson and Brice Bement.
We've got a jam-packed 30 minutes ahead, all devoted to Illini basketball. The Big Ten's winningest team the past 3 years with a 44-16 record, the best league play stretch in program history.
Yet plenty of questions remain with a reconstructed roster and, of course, a lot more to be desired in the NCAA tournament, with Illinois failing to advance past the first weekend for the second straight year.
Whether or not they get back to the big dance will largely be determined by how this team comes together. A full starting lineup of players are gone. All-American Kofi Coburn turned pro. He's now playing in Japan. Grad transfer Jacob Grandison left for Duke, while Trent Frazier, DeMonte Williams, and Alfonso Plummer graduated. But that's only half of the guys who are no longer here. Andre Curbelo transferred to St. John's. Benjamin Bossman's Verdonk is at South Carolina. Omar Payne left for Jacksonville University, while Brendan Pajimski suits up for Santa Clara now. And Austin Hutcherson declared for the NBA draft, but head coach Brad Underwood says the Illini aren't rebuilding.
We're never rebuilding. Anybody uses that word, I'm not going to talk to you anymore. We're not rebuilding, we're reloading. And I think we're in that place.
It's not a rebuild in Underwood's eyes, but you'll likely need a roster the first few games because these are the only returning players on scholarship. At least Brandon Lieb and Coleman Hawkins start year 3 in orange and blue, while R.J. Melendez and Luke Goody are sophomores who will be counted on, Brice.
But Goody won't be on the court anytime soon after breaking his foot in the team's secret scrimmage against Kansas. He had surgery last Friday and is out indefinitely. Underwood said he had Goody penciled in as a starter, leaving guys like Hawkins in even bigger leadership roles both on and off the court.
And everybody's watching me, so anything I do, they're going to do. So kind of just focus on being a leader and kind of not making mistakes either. So.
Are you comfortable being a leader?
Yeah, I'm definitely comfortable. I think I'm capable as well. But I kind of want to fall into more of the, leading by example.
Hawkins is one of the most experienced returning guys, but he has plenty of experienced players around him. They're just new to the program. Notably, Baylor transfer Matthew Meyer, the 6'9", 225-pound wing, averaged 9.8 points and 5 rebounds a game last season for the Bears. Meyer won a national title back in 2021. The only thing missing at Illinois, the flow. Meyer cut his mullet before arriving to Champaign.
Meyer and Terrence Shannon Jr. both come to Illinois from the Big 12, where they played against one another for years. TJ, as he's known, arrives after 3 years at Texas Tech, where he was an all-Big 12 player for the Red Raiders, averaging 10-2 last season. He's already getting Big 10 recognition on the preseason list, and after 4 years away from the land of Lincoln, Shannon is happy to be representing his home state.
Dope. A lot of people text me from back home in high school saying they're happy to see me here.
Illinois has always wanted to bring Terrence Shannon Jr. back. After a year of prep school at IMG Academy in Florida, the Lincoln Park grad had an offer and was being heavily pursued by the Illini. Instead, though, he chose a foreign destination in Texas Tech.
Throughout my years there, I matured a lot. I grew up more.
Shannon found almost immediate success, helping the Red Raiders on to a Sweet 16 in his final season in Lubbock. When the guard entered the transfer portal in the spring, though, Illinois was looking for experience, and it was a perfect match.
I felt like they needed me, and they also wanted me, and they didn't have any bad intentions to just want me on their team or just to get me just because of who I am. But I felt like that was the best move at the end of the day.
For a team not lacking fresh faces, Shannon is having to take on more than just a starting role. The Illini coaching staff is relying on the Chicago native to step up and be the leader the Illini need in 2022.
That's why we brought him. That's why we were looking for that. You know, those guys have to help those young guys understand how we do it, what we do, and they've got to help them get there as well.
If they see me in the gym, they'll feel like they need to be in the gym, and like I always tell them, they can come and ask me questions. And I also listen when I may be wrong or if somebody knows something more than me.
Talking about leading by example, Shannon made it his goal throughout October to make 1,000 shots a day before practice, getting up as early as 4:45 to make sure he gets to 30,000 for the month.
Pretty crazy to think about how much time he has put in. The third transfer, Andy, is Dane Danger. He was actually teammates with Meyer at Baylor in the Big 12, but he redshirted the year they won the national title, that only played in 3 games following the year that he elected to transfer to Illinois. Danger was a highly touted recruit out of high school in Minnesota, a top 100 prospect nationally, but outside of those 3 games in 21, hasn't played competitive basketball in years. He's worked on his body since arriving in Champaign. He weighed 295 when he arrived. Now he's at 260 and says he's ready to get back on the court.
I kind of can do it all. I can dribble, I can pass, really get my teammates involved. I'm really dominant in the post. I can kind of do everything. Ever since I've been here, it's just one of the biggest things I've developed was just my defense, being able to guard the little guards, being able to guard the ball screens.
Danger certainly showed what he could do in the exhibition game last Friday. RJ Melendez is in line for a big bump in playing time this season. Hear from the sophomore on how he's improved to try and break out. Plus, the backcourt, a big unknown.
I have my ups and downs, but I feel like the whole team is really starting to gel right now.
Sky Clark, Jaden Epps, Sincere Harris, and Ty Rogers make up a talented freshman class that's going to be counted on to play big roles. More on that next as the Your Illini Nation Tip-Off Show continues.
Your Illini Nation continues now.
Illinois basketball starts the season ranked in the top 25 for the 3rd straight year. That hasn't happened since the mid-2000s. North Carolina is the #1 team in the country, followed by Gonzaga.
And 3 Big Ten teams make the preseason list, led by Indiana at 13. Michigan is 1 spot ahead of the 23rd ranked Illinois.
And it's the Hoosiers who headlined the Big Ten media poll, getting 19 first-place votes. Illinois is second, receiving 6 first-place nods, followed by Michigan, Michigan State, and Purdue.
Despite all the regular season success for Illinois the past few years, the one thing missing, a run in the NCAA tournament. The Illini were bounced in the 2nd round for the 2nd straight year, losing to Houston and Pittsburgh. Even a first-round win over Chattanooga wasn't easy, taking some late heroics to get past the Mocs. The Illini haven't made it to the 2nd weekend of the Big Dance since 2005. One guy who played very well in the final game of the tournament, RJ Melendez, the then freshman, scored 9 points on 4 of 5 shooting against the Cougars, ending an up-and-down first year in college. Melendez played in 22 games, averaged 3.8 points and nearly 2 rebounds per outing as a freshman. But just when he started to get in a groove, missed 3 games with an appendectomy. Head coach Brad Underwood has called RJ a, quote, breakout candidate this year. Melendez says the way he ended the season certainly helped his confidence.
That last game just made a little click on how big of an impact I can be on the court, just consistency. So I feel like building up confidence on my shot. So whenever I know I let that ball go off my fingers, I know it's going in. So it's just making ILL fans happy for wins and all that.
Melendez is up to 210 pounds. He arrived on campus last year at 180. For years now, Illinois has had a go-to guard. Ayo Dosunmu left his mark on the program, Bryce, alongside Trent Frazier, both foundational pieces of the turnaround.
But Brad Underwood and the Illini turn the page to a new, younger group in the backcourt this season. It's a talented group of freshmen who say they're ready for the challenge.
I don't really care. I just want to do whatever I can do to help this team win. That's all I want to do.
That's the mentality of the Illini freshman class, a group of playmakers who expect to see the court a lot this season.
I have my ups and downs, but I feel like the whole team is really starting to gel right now, which is the perfect time because the season's about to start.
And Sky Clark, Jaden Epps, Ty Rogers, and Sincere Harris have some big shoes to fill. Gone are point guards Trent Frazier and Andre Curbelo, leaving a brand new freshman backcourt to facilitate both ends of the floor.
The good thing about our team is even Dane, 1 through 5, we can all bring it up the court. So whoever gets it pushes it. But to be in the PG, I really just want to run the offense, say if we're a little hectic, then slowing stuff down. I feel like that'll be my role, and just being a vocal leader.
Illinois head coach Brad Underwood says the maturity and versatility of the freshman class helped the team to be positionless. Sky, Ty, Jaden, and Sincere make up the 7th-ranked recruiting class in the country, according to 24/7 Sports, the first top 10 class for Illinois since 2011. Knowing they will be counted on comes with pressure, but it's something they say they're ready for.
I know people are going to be coming after me during the season, which is a great thing. That's what I want. And so it's going to be a lot of fun.
It's been a change, just the speed of the game, the knowledge of the game, just learning a lot. And just I put on a lot of muscle since I've been here, so just everything, it's just a different game. It's more physical and things like that.
It's been good, honestly. I've always been a bigger guard. I feel like I always can handle the ball. So to be able to show it and for Coach Underwood to believe in me, to be able to do it is a big thing. But I'm adjusting really well, and I love it.
Here's a look at the Illinois freshman class, all 4 stars, according to 24/7 Sports. Sky Clark is the 5th highest recruit in the modern era for Illinois. If you add the 3 transfers, Illinois is ranked 2nd in the country for the class of 2022. Andy?
Thanks, Bryce. He's the man who knows anything, everything about Illini basketball. Derek Piper from Illini Inquirer, our local Illini basketball insider. And Derek, we'll start with a little top-down view for the Illini. Coming off a Big Ten championship last season, what are your expectations? What do you think the team's expectations are for this season?
I think it's another year when you can expect to be in the mix for a Big Ten title. You look at Indiana, Illinois as the top 2 teams projected in the league right now, and from a talent perspective, they have as much talent on paper as anybody in the league. It's really about how this team can mesh together, but they have a lot of pieces. Coleman Hawkins is thought to be one of the breakout players in the Big Ten. On paper, and I think long term, it can be a really, really good season and a chance to finally go on that deep tournament run like they've been hoping for.
Let's go into some of the micro things now. You mentioned Coleman Hawkins there. What do you think about his game makes him that candidate to break out in his 3rd year?
We know he's an outstanding defender. He's one of the best defenders in the Big Ten because of his versatility, because of his length, the fact that he can essentially guard 1 through 5. I know he's talked a lot about that throughout the offseason of being able to, with their change in defensive style, being able to even switch on to point guards at sometimes and recover to the paint. Now it's trying to come from being a sub 30% three-point shooter in college so far to now upping that to 35 plus from 3, doing more off the dribble, more facilitating, because he'll have the ball outside of the three-point arc a lot, trying to pull big men away from the basket and making good passes, making good reads. So having the game slow down too now as a veteran is something that can elevate him to another level.
What do you make of this non-conference schedule, and how do you think Illinois will fare against some of those tough programs?
It's a lot of opportunity to build your resume. That's
right.
First and foremost. Also get tested, be battle tested by the time you get in the thick of Big Ten play and really try to chase that Big Ten title. But for a team that has a lot of new pieces, they're still trying to figure out themselves, particularly offensively with their identity. It's going to be tough.
To hear more from Derek, watch our full conversation in studio on our website, WCIA.com. Also, tune into the Your Illini Nation pregame show live on our digital channels before games this season, both home and away. Watch on our website, app, YouTube, and directly on our Facebook and Twitter timelines.
You know, this is the first time in really 3 years I haven't known exactly where I'm going with the ball at the end of the game.
A lot of questions still to be answered for head coach Brad Underwood this season. He joins us in studio to talk about everything from his newcomers to another NCAA tournament disappointment and a few fun ones as well. What's on his playlist and what's his go-to wine? All that and more next.
Your Illini Nation continues now.
Welcome back to the Your Illini Nation tip-off show. Pleased to be joined now by Illinois head coach Brad Underwood in studio, starting year 6, Brad, in Champaign. A lot has happened in that time, both good and bad for your program, but I want to start with this 10,000-foot view. Can you believe it's year 6 already, and how do you sum up what your time has been?
No, it's amazing. Time flies when you're having fun, but there's been so many positive things happen. The first 2 years were tough. We knew that coming in. We knew there was going to be challenges. nothing goes without having a speed bump or two in the way. But we established our culture. We laid the foundation. We got the right guys. You know, then as they got older, the wins started to happen.
You spent a lot of time this offseason talking about this new look roster. Gone are guys like Kofi Coburn. You've said repeatedly you knew you had 20 and 10 every game. DeMonte Williams, Trent Frazier, those guys you really built with. And you've said there's an excitement about that, but what are the concerns as well as you try and work through this and getting closer to the season here?
Well, experience. I mean, just literally experience. And you start putting guys in situations where realistically 75% of your games are going to be 2 possessions or less. And this is the first time in really 3 years I haven't known exactly where I'm going with the ball at the end of the game. So, you know, how guys react in those moments will be different. This is a pretty tough, resilient group, so I think we'll be okay there as we move forward.
Is it safe to say you guys won't be the same three-point shooting team as last year when Alfonso could just let it fly? And who are your three-point shooters this year?
Yeah, there's not Alfonso Plummer, and I don't know if I can ever coach another Plummer. I hope so. We're different. You know, RJ's very, very good shooter. Matthew Meyer, very good shooter. Terrence Shannon, you start looking at Sky Clark. Jaden, you know, the Coleman everybody saw last year is not going to be the Coleman that people see this year. He's been extraordinary in terms of shooting the basketball.
Do you need games, in a sense, to see where you're at?
Yeah.
I mean, practice is great, but how valuable will these first 3 or 4 games be before you really get tested in Vegas?
Yeah, there's no doubt. You've got to see how guys play. It's for me, it's about knowing your team. And I don't know our team yet. I've seen them in practice, and I know what I think we're capable of, but how they react to a different opponent. And are we going to make mistakes? Absolutely. But that's part of growth. I think we'll play hard. I think we'll play fast. And I think you'll see a lot of guys play.
We talked this time last year about using that NCAA tournament disappointment as fuel, but with so many new guys, do you even talk about that this year? How do you approach that?
Yeah, we talk about it a lot. You know, that's the beauty of the NCAA tournament. You have a bad day or a bad matchup, and you lose and you go home, and everything is forgotten. And we don't want to forget that. We don't want to forget winning a Big Ten championship. We don't want to forget, being one of the top seeds. And injuries happen, whatever the reasons. All we got to do is try to get back there and be playing our best when we get there.
I know you're a wine guy.
Yeah.
Well, do you have a favorite type? Or?
Oh, I'm a cab guy. I'm pretty much a cab. I drink the bolder, stronger, probably my favorite, but I'll sample just about anything.
Okay, good stuff. Let's do a couple quick hitters here. What's your order at Starbucks?
Trenta iced coffee, 2 pumps of classic.
Is that every morning?
It's not as much.
You got to limit yourself.
As it used to be. I've got a svelte figure. I'm trying to keep on tap, but no, I'm a nice coffee guy.
Favorite genre of music, Brad?
Country.
You got artists?
I've probably got Morgan Wallen going in the office right now.
If you weren't a coach, you'd be doing what?
Lawyer.
Okay, I can see that. You got like the fiery in you, you know?
Yeah, I would have.
Closing a case?
You know, I was a radio TV major, but I had a face for radio.
To watch our full conversation with Brad Underwood, head to our website, WCIA.com. We're not done yet here on the Your Illini Nation Tip-Off Show. Coming up after the break, we catch up with new Illinois women's basketball coach Shauna Green as she tries to turn around and jumpstart the program. Plus, we're taking you on an inside tour of the Ubben practice facility, the $40 million project. Illinois Athletic Director Josh Whitman, our tour guide, next.
Your Illini Nation continues now.
Illinois women's basketball tips off a new era this season with Shauna Green taking over the program. She replaces Nancy Fay, who retired in March after going just 7-77 in Big Ten regular season games.
Yeah, and Green arrives in Champaign from Dayton, where she spent the last 6 seasons with the Flyers, taking them to 4 NCAA tournaments. Illinois hasn't been to the Big Dance since 2003.
And getting the program back to relevancy is a big task, but Green says she's up for the challenge. And for her, it all starts with getting the foundation set in year 1.
The expectation of the work and the intensity and the attention to detail. You can be good, you can be great, and then you can be elite. And in order to be elite, it's really, really hard. And that's every single day, your habits. So that's really just trying to instill that culture and develop habits.
Our whole philosophy has changed, and I think it's going to be for the better. We're a lot faster. We focus on defense a lot more, and we rebound really well.
The Shauna Green era officially tips off Wednesday the 9th against LIU Brooklyn at State Farm Center.
Green has a huge recruiting advantage in the newly renovated Ubben basketball complex. The $40 million project is open and nearly complete. We got an inside look with tour guide Illini Athletic Director Josh Whitman.
Welcome, everybody. Great to have you with us. Excited to show off our new home, the Ubben facility. Obviously, Ubben was first built in the late 1990s. It was the first standalone basketball facility of any school in the country. And for a long time, we were the model. But we knew as we headed into this more recent time that our needs had changed. And so it was a great opportunity for us to bring a refresh to the Ubben space. Guys filing in here. Obviously, the players' locker room, kind of part of their players' compound back here. So again, mirrored on both sides. We've got the men's on this side, women's on the other, but they walk down this main corridor and then they can shoot off into their bathroom, shower space. This is their main changing area.
This is something we can be very proud of, from the eye up on the ceiling to the graphics. The most important thing to me is this is their place.
One thing that we really focused on is just the flow and functionality of the building. And again, I give a lot of credit to our architects, H&TB, but as you go around the country, some of these spaces, you'll see that they have a lounge because they want to be able to say they have a lounge, but it's not anywhere close to where the players actually spend their time. And we'll wrap up in Brad's office. This was really a focal point of the project. We wanted to make sure we had a premier space for the coaches to work. They spend an extraordinary amount of time here. It was important to us to have a comfortable space for them, a functional space. I've got a great office, and I would probably trade him straight up. So.
You saw this shot. This is the view from Underwood's office. You can see State Farm Center there looking out the window. You can see Memorial Stadium as well. He also has a fridge, 98-inch TV in his office as well, and he's going to be spending a lot of time there.
Yeah, and that's where the Illini will soon start their season. State Farm Center, not Underwood's office. It tips off Monday at 8 when Eastern Illinois comes to Champaign for an 8 o'clock start on ESPNU.
That'll do it for the Your Illini Nation tip-off show. For Andy Olson and Brice Bement, I'm Bret Beherns. Guys, from Las Vegas to New York City and everywhere in between, quite literally, we will be there every step of the way this season to bring you the very best coverage. Enjoy the ride, Illini Nation. Good night.
This has been your Illini Nation tip-off show from WCIA 3 Sports. Sponsored by Blue Sky Restoration and Longview Bank.